Black everything. Come on in, come on in. Tavistock Institute, Chapter 5. Keeping it right along. Television. Tell us to your vision. Tell us to your vision. I think despite big streams, many dreams. Big dreams, many days. My bad. I don't know why it's coming over. Peace to the Kings, Public Enemy. I do not own the rights to this music. We gonna get it right back. We'll be with it. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. But continue. Apathy takes over, often preceded by mindless violence, such as its characteristics of the Los Angeles street gangs in the 1960s and 1980s. That Emery and Trips call organized social response to dissociation, as described in the pages of Anthony Burgess' novel A Clockwork Orange. A society that not dominated by infantile animal-like rage. Quote, such a group becomes easy to control and will docilely follow orders without rebelling, which is the subject of this exercise, end quote. Add Trist and Emery. What's more, the dissociated adults cannot exert moral authority over their children because they are too involved with their own infantile fantasies brought to them through their television set, end quote. What's going on in these neighborhoods, no communities? Ah, man, crazy. And if you doubt what I'm saying, look at the older generations today, as they have accepted the moral decadence of the no future generation of its children, rather than seek conflict. And in the process, the adults have come to accept a lower moral standard. Just as in Huxley's drug controlled Brave New World, there are no moral or emotional choices to make here. The Flower Children and the drug soaked rebellion of the Vietnam era is a perfect example of how this scenario functions. These frequent vacillations pass through several scenarios, stable at which point people more or less are able to adapt to what's happening to them, or it is turbulent, quote, at which point people either take action to relieve the tension or they adapt to accept the tension filled environment, end quote. If the turbulence does not cease or is intensified, then at a certain point people cease being able to adapt in a positive way. According to Tristan Emery, quote, people become maladaptive, maladaptive. They choose a response to tension that degrades their lives. They start to repress reality, denying its existence, and constructing increasingly more infantile fantasies that enable them to cope. Under the conditions of increasing social turbulence, people change their values, yielding to new degraded values, values that are less human, values that are and more animal-like. End quote. The second area is segmentation of society into smaller parts. In this scenario, quote, it is every group, ethnic, racial, and sexual against the other, end quote. Nations break apart into region groups, those smaller areas in turn filter into even smaller areas along ethnic lines. Tristan Emery refers to it as enhancement of in-group and out-group prejudices as people seek to simplify their choices. The natural lines of social division emerge to become barricades. Society's response to such a psychological and political disintegration is the Orwellian fascist state, modeled on his book 1984. In the book, Big Brother regulates the lives of the and conflicts of the people within a society, and within a society. Excuse me. A never-ending conflict, quote, is waged by each ruling group against its own subjects, and the subjects of the war. It is not to make or prevent conquest of territory, but to keep the structure of society intact. So they create the wars and then they tell you to pick a side. Sound familiar? Mm. You know, and right there, Tavistock Institute, chapter 5. We getting along. We getting along. All black everything. Yeah. Thinkers Flight. Big dreams, many streams. We almost through now. A lot of long chapters, but it is how it is, you know. Tavistock Institute, all black everything. Come on back. Appreciate you for checking us out. Yeah, thumbs up, thumbs up. Share it, like you hitchhiking, like you hitchhiking. Peace, love.